I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. Hey you, this is Dance Reaction. Let's go to the disco by train. Have a nice trip. Train gets rolling all night long. The train gets rolling all night long. The train gets rolling all night long. West train to London. Come on, ride it, train. And ride it. Work the rest of the train. Yeah. Get your ticket. Don't miss it.
Don't touch that dial. The Chapters Wrap with psychologist Steve Vaccaro starts now.
This is the Chapters Wrap Drive Time Live, and again, we start with another mass shooting in Nashville, and our hearts, our prayers, our thoughts go out to these six individuals, these six angels that lost their lives: Evelyn Dykehouse, Haley Scruggs, William Kinney, Cynthia Peak, Mike Hill, and Catherine Kunze. The world, the country is devastated. This is the 13th, 14th, or 15th, 16th, I lost count, mass shooting since the beginning of the year. I've been doing this show on the network for 10 years, and I feel like we've been doing this all each and every week. And we're going to bring Steve Malsborg on in a second. I'm sure he has his thoughts and comments and share some up-to-date information on what's going on. But first, I have to start off with some good news. Let's bring Anna on to the show real quick. It's all about good news. Anna is Alpha honor roll at her school, Montclair State. Anna, congratulations. Congratulations, Anna. We can't hear you, but I'm sure that you're ecstatic of it. Your great news and the great work that you're doing.
No, apparently, I mean, I'm speaking. My mic is on and stuff. So
there you go. You're good to go. Congratulations. Awesome. You're working very hard. Congratulations on your honor.
Thank you so much. I mean, like, I graduated Montclair almost a good 7 years ago. But the good thing about Tri Alpha is that they honor even alumna that are first generation students within their families to go to college. And, you know, it's just something that I know that as soon as I saw it, I was like, I need to apply. And thankfully I made it.
And you're doing it for your brother and your family. God bless you, Anna, for all the great work that you do. We couldn't do anything without you. So thank you very, very much. God bless you. And I know you got a lot of work to do, and we'll see you at that ceremony tomorrow night. I can't wait.
Yes. Thank you.
This is Chapters Wrap Live. If you want to join in, please do. It's 727-441-3000. I was also at the Yankee game the other day, the last spring training game at George M. Steinbrenner Field. Yankees beat the Rays. Sorry, you Tampa Bay fans. But somebody engaged. They got engaged right then and there on the Yankee dugout. Odie and Kerry got engaged, and it was such a great sight because sometimes it happens at a ball game, sometimes you see it, but you never get the chance to meet the people. So Odie and Kerry, are you there?
Yeah, we're here, Steve.
Congratulations, my man. Great job. Well done.
Well, it was definitely a great day with a great woman and a great atmosphere, so that's for sure.
So when did you come up with this idea that you're going to do it at a Yankee game?
Making final plans for it. Like the week before, kind of finalizing. I had some different ideas, and I've been a Yankee fan growing up, and had planned this trip months and months ago, and anyway, the stars just aligned and decided to make it happen that day. So,
were you nervous?
Absolutely, yeah.
And Carrie, you had no idea what was going to happen?
No, I had no idea. In fact, the funniest part was right at the beginning of the 5th inning, I went to take a bathroom break, and then about gave him a heart attack because the middle of the 5th is when they were going to make the announcement.
Carrie, you almost messed it up. I know, Odie. You must have been freaking out, Odie, right? You must have been freaking out.
Oh, yeah, I was definitely freaking out. So, I was a bundle of nerves the whole game. I was quiet, which is not usually like me, and just nervous about the whole thing. And then she tells me she needs to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, well, this better work out. And it did. So it was great. Well,
it was meant to be. God bless. And of course you said yes. You had shirts made up. I asked, number 3. I said yes. Number 27. Doesn't get better than that.
Doesn't get better than that. Yeah, it was a good day.
Agreed.
Well, God bless you guys. We want to spend a few moments with you. And because there's so much bad news going out there, I had to share some good news. So we love you very much. And God bless you. And we'll definitely see you down the road real soon.
All right. Well, thanks for letting me be a part of the show, and thanks for advertising. We appreciate it. Good day.
All right. Carrie and Odie got engaged at the Yankee game, the last spring training game in Tampa. It was a great sight. But let's bring Steve Malzberg on because we don't have a lot of time on this Drive Time show. And what happened in Nashville is sickening, and change has to be made. Wouldn't you agree, Steve?
It was sickening. It was awful. It was horrible. I think that what's going on in its aftermath is not so great either. Right away, of course, it's blame the gun. If this had been a school with black children in it and a white person went in and shot it up, they would have called it a hate crime. Here we have a trans person who went back to the school they used to attend, a Christian school, and we keep hearing from the police chief that she left. Today we found out about a 60-page notebook manifesto. So what's in it? Oh, we're looking at it. Oh, how long does it take to read a 60-page notebook? It's been 2 full days plus, okay? And you have on the record, according to Newsweek.com, Newsday.com. Well, Newsday or Newsweek. Now I'm confusing myself. Just before I came on, I saw a story online from them quoting the heads of LGBT groups and trans groups saying, "Oh no, we shouldn't show what's in the manifesto. It's a distraction. It'll take us away from the main topic." No. How could it take us away from the main topic? We need to know if this was a hateful act, and of course it was a hateful act. Was it targeting Christians? Of course it targeted Christians, but nobody wants to talk about that. If it targeted blacks, if it targeted Jews, if it targeted Muslims, that's all you'd be hearing about. But it targeted Christians, and nobody wants to talk about that. You also have today, the press secretary for the governor of Arkansas had to resign because she, in response to a tweet, tweeted out a tweet of her own, a woman with a gun, aiming a gun, saying, us, when we see a transphobe. I guess she's trans herself? I don't know, or not, but she had to resign almost immediately after posting that tweet. In other words, endorsing violence. You also have a group that's called for a day of vengeance outside the Supreme Court on Saturday, and it is run or advertised by a group called the Trans Radical Activist Network. So there's a lot going on here. Don't forget, the governor just signed a law against drag shows and against other limitations on transitioning, medically young children. That was very recently, and then you have this shooting. So we have to know what's in that manifesto. And we have to have a conversation about it beyond make more laws that will prohibit more law-abiding citizens from getting guns. I mean, you could ban every weapon that's out there, and the criminal's always going to get a gun. You're only punishing and limiting law-abiding citizens. When it comes to keeping kids safe in schools, you need to increase security in schools. You need to have doors that are locked, only one door that opens from the outside, letting kids in. And like in Texas and elsewhere, if teachers want to train and carry guns in the school, it's a deterrent. This woman had another target, we're told, but she felt that the security was too tight at that other target, so she went where she knew there would be no guns and no resistance.
But Steve, she shot through the door. The door was locked?
That was a glass door. Yeah, that was a glass door.
Right.
She shattered the glass and opened the door. We need better security, better doors.
Well, this is a Christian school, so maybe the security is not up to par where a public school setting may be. I don't know. But the things that are coming about week after week, I mean, what do you attribute this to? How do we stop this trend, or can we stop it?
Well, I mean, it depends what mass shootings, when you have somebody who's willing to commit suicide after doing something like this, who's willing to go into that school knowing they're not coming out, or a shopping mall or wherever, it's very hard to stop. There's no law you could pass that's going to stop that. The only logical alternative is to make as many places undesirable targets as possible. And that's by arming people within those facilities. So the person will look for a different facility or think twice and not say it's probably not worth it. I'm going to get shot right away. It's a sick way of thinking, but you have to, they're crazy, but they're not stupid. They know they're going to get glory of their name and coverage. But it's interesting. When we had that driver run down and kill 6 people at the Wisconsin Christmas parade 2 years ago, and one was an 8-year-old boy. There was also an elderly woman and another child. That story, once it came out, he was a black driver who had BLM stuff on his Facebook and all. That story wasn't covered again until he was convicted and sentenced a year or so later. Why? Why did that go away? So in a way, I'm shocked that this is a trans shooter and it's getting all this coverage. But on the other hand, they're kind of either excusing it, the media, or not focusing on that it's trans and just focusing like a laser beam on the gun. We got to know, just like we'd have to know from a black shooter or a white shooter shooting up black people, vice versa. We can't ignore that there was a motive here. And to say, oh, they can't figure out the motive. Are you kidding me? Let's see the manifesto. 60 pages. It doesn't take that long to read.
This is the Chapters Wrap live here, 727-441-3000. Talking to Steve Walsberg about the whole Nashville thing. And when you look at Uvalde and you look at what just happened, the police waited around for over an hour in Uvalde, and the police here in Nashville went right in. But before you comment, we have a caller. Is the caller there?
Diane.
Diane, are you there, Diane?
Yes.
What's your thoughts about what happened in Nashville and what Steve's talking about?
I hear what Steve's talking about, and I understand his point of view, and I'm sure he has much more expertise than I do. I'm just a nurse. I'm just a mom. But I did want to say that a couple of things. One, I felt that the police responded practically immediately this time from what we're being told, which in my mind makes them heroes. And I'm grateful for their presence there that day, that they responded so quickly and were able to save lives. And I really would like to, honor them and thank them, from the bottom of my heart for what they did, being a first responder and rushing in towards the gunfire, preventing more loss of life. And I feel, I just want to make that point. The point I think is it might sound simple, okay, but maybe, I'm just a simple person, but I'm on the side of these kids living. I'm on the side of looking at what we can do to prevent this from happening again. And quite frankly, it happened with Sandy Hook. More close, that was in Connecticut. I'm in New York, okay, and we were outraged then. and they were children, and they were massacred, and as were some adults. And it just boggles the mind that all these years later and all these other mass shootings later, we still haven't come up with some solution. I like I say, I'm not an expert, so I don't know what that solution is. I tend to think that the ban we had on assault weapons, if you look at the data, not guns per se, but the assault rifle itself, that the data suggests that did in fact lower killings by that type of weapon, which was the type of weapon that this the latest mass shooting used.
Right.
So, well, I don't have any clear-cut answers.
Well, Diane, I appreciate your comments and thoughts, and we're almost running out of time here. Steve, what,
gotcha.
you want to comment on what Diane said?
Yeah.
Thank you for calling, Diane.
No, but you're not a little person. You do wonderful work. You said you're a nurse and a mother, by the way, which is the most important job that you could have. But no, look, you're right. But you know what? Let's not lose sight of all the kids that are shot and murdered in the streets of our cities, okay, where crime is out of control. And those people who do the shooting, they're not out to get killed and commit suicide. And when they get arrested, they're let out to do it again. So what we have to do is have mandatory sentences for anybody who commits a crime with a gun, lock them up. It acts as a deterrent because these people don't want to go to jail for years. They know they're not going to go to jail. So it's a deterrent. And if they do it, they go to jail and they're off the streets. So we shouldn't just get lost in these tragedies where it's in a school, it's in a supermarket, kids are getting killed all over the place with handguns.
Right.
So once they ban assault weapons, they're going to come, and I've already seen segments before this shooting on CNN and elsewhere about handguns.
Right.
That's their goal, is to take away our guns.
Right. 727-441-3000. This Chapters Wrap Live. We're talking to Steve Malzberg and everything that happened in Nashville. So, Steve, you're talking about why one group gets more attention than the other, but how do we come to some sort of resolution with this moving forward? Because this country is polarized to begin with. How do we all come together? Because there's over 16 times this has happened since 2023 began.
If you have people who are willing to die for what they're going to do, and they have weapons. This woman, she had 7 weapons. She was undergoing mental illness treatment.
Right.
But they keep saying the parents and the daughter. She was 28 years old. Yeah, she lived in the house, but she's an adult. She's not a little kid under their care. I don't know how much they are to blame. I just think, again, you got to have better security. If we have security at airports, why shouldn't we have security at schools?
Right.
I heard Jessica Tarloff on Fox News say you're taking away the childhood of these kids if you have the armed people in the schools and daycare centers. Really? So
Right.
you'd rather have this? You got to protect where the children are.
Hold tight, Steve. We have another caller. There's a caller there.
Victoria,
you there?
Yeah.
You want to comment on
hi.
what we're talking about?
Tell me a little bit about it. I missed a little bit of what was going on. I think
In Nashville, what's your thoughts about what went down in Nashville?
I think that it's very, very sad. The country is where it's at. And, I really don't know with the shooter and all the information that's coming out. I feel it's really difficult because you have, these innocent children that have nothing to do with why this even happened.
Right. Victoria, thank you for calling in. Steve, I'm sure on your shows, on your podcasts, on your work that you do, you're going to hear more and more of this as the story unfolds. But where do we pivot? What do we need to do first?
What we need to do first, like I said, is if we're talking about schools, is secure the schools, is secure the locations, give more people the chance, good guys, to have guns in schools and shopping malls and everywhere else. Because statistically, and I've gotten this from people like John Lott, statistically, the mass shooters go to where they know it's a gun-free zone, where they know they're going to have time to get away with killing as many people as possible. That's where they go. So take that away. And that's step number one. I don't know what other answers. We just passed, the Congress just passed a Biden gun reform bill. I mean, again, you're not going to stop the criminal by passing more anti-gun laws or, making this gun illegal or that gun illegal. The criminal will always find a way. And if they don't use an assault weapon, they'll use something else. And then they'll say, oh, now it's handguns. Now we have to do to handguns what we did to assault weapons. And don't think that's not what the left's goal is. So the answer is make the schools safe. Make them safe for our children by arming teachers who want to be armed and training them and locking that place up so that during the day, no one who doesn't belong there can get in and enter.
Steve Wellsberg, thank you very much for joining us week after week. You do great work. And
my pleasure, Steve.
Unfortunately, we got to band together somehow. And God bless you. Thank you for taking the time always for supporting our show. God bless you, my man.
Take care, Steve.
We're done here. Stick around for Worth the Price of Admission with Jill Martin. God bless you guys. Be safe.
Strung me along for far too long, cause I never gave up the fight. Until now, it's gonna hit you hard till you see stars. It's gonna put you through a world of hurt. Oh, I don't believe in getting even by getting what you deserve. Oh my, oh my. Mama always told me that I should play nice. She didn't know you and she gave me that advice. I could do with you. You're one bridge I like to burn. Bottle up the ashes, smash the iron. I'm through with you. Light it down. I don't wanna be your just for fun. Don't wanna be where you're from. All I wanna be is done. You crossed the line too many times. I'm gonna put you in your place. You play with dynamite, don't be surprised when I blow up in your face. Oh my,
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
6:30 to 7, Worth the Price of Admission with host Jill Martin, special guest, co-founder of Grassroots Baseball, President Jeff Idelson, and Sony Artisan sports photographer Gene Fruit from 7 to 7:30. The Ozone. With your host, former Major League Baseball player Orestes Estrada. From 7:30 to 8, reach out with host, New York Yankees community consultant
Ray Negron,
Frankie Valli's musical director
Robbie Robinson,
and psychologist
Steve Vaccaro,
co-host Santiago Pinckney, special guest Brooke Green, Liliana, and Tina Nichols. That's coming up Wednesday, March 29th, live on the Chapters Network and the Tan Talk Radio Network.
From the Sunshine State, this is Tampa Bay's Tan Talk.
Once in your life, you find her, someone who turns your heart around, and next thing you know, you're closing down the town. What you can do is fall in love.
Good evening. Welcome to Worth the Price of Admission, and I'm your host, Jill Martin. This show is part of the Chapters Network, and we are live from Tan Talk Radio. You can listen to us at 106.1, 102.3. This is FM 104.3, and AM 1340, AM 1350, and AM 1400. If you have any questions about our show or regarding anything about my late husband, Billy, please call us at 727-441-3000. My guest this evening is the former president of the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, Jeff Idelson, and his partner, Sony Artisan photographer, Gene Fruth. Together, they have started an amazing nonprofit. It's called Grassroots Baseball. Before they join us, I'd like to begin with some old music photos with my time at Live Nation Entertainment. The first photo this evening is Sting. Sting would come on stage several hours early to the venue in his skivvies when no one was there and privately do yoga on stage. Very unique and peaceful to watch. Only the regular staff was around. An amazing voice, an amazing entertainment. I loved the opportunity to photograph him, and one of my favorite musicians. My second photo this evening is of Kiss. I was so close with my camera to Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. Paul, who you see on the right, just blew me a pic. I thought I was a kid again. The performance on stage was nothing short of a Broadway musical. The makeup, the costumes, the lighting, the entire band loved being photographed. It was a fun show and great access. My third photo is of Brad Paisley. I photographed him several times at our venue through the years. He knows how to engage a crowd. Although a truly great entertainer, he wouldn't allow any separate access for the working press. The normal rule of thumb for all of us is you're allowed to shoot the first 3 songs, no flash, with railed access to the stage or the soundboard, which is usually approximately 50 yards back from the stage. Some bands who remember your etiquette from the last tour would give you thumbs up to stay a little longer. Brad, on the other hand, didn't allow any closed-off access for us to work anytime he came to see us. We were allowed in at the beginning of the second song with the crowd already seated in their fabulous seats, and you literally had to walk over them to do your job. As polite as you tried to be, they weren't very happy. I still managed to get the job done, though. Great concert, and I loved his music. And speaking of photography, you're about to see some real life talent here tonight, and it's worth the price of admission. It's Women's History Month, so ladies first. Jean Firth is one of 2 of my guests this evening. She is one of the 45 Sony Artisan of Imagery photographers, a partnership with a small collection of visual artists worldwide. Jean is considered one of baseball's premier photographers, a girl after my own heart. At the highest levels of sports, Jean says her true passion is providing a glimpse into the national pastime by telling stories of people and places that are part of the game's landscape with photography, grassroots to major league. The past several years, Jean has produced 2 amazingly beautiful photography books portraying the story of her newly co-founded Grassroots Foundation. These pictures will steal your heart. The children, their faces, their elation, their struggle to achieve, heartwarming, gives you goosebumps. With that being said, this is Women's History Month, and I can't think of a better guest chasing her dream to have this evening celebrating Women's History Month. Welcome, Jean.
Oh, so happy to be here. And those beginning photos makes me want to shoot music. Sting.
Yeah,
Incredible. What a beautiful photo of him.
Thank you. It was truly a job, a dream come true.
Wow.
For the folks who don't know what Sony Artisan is, Jean, what does that mean?
It's, with Sony, it's being an ambassador for the brand. I switched to Sony quite a few years ago because of the technology, and you understand this as a photographer, and just the technology and what they were developing just moved so much far ahead, especially for me in sports. And their brand and their way of being just aligns with what I believe in, and you'll appreciate this as well. And because we are in Women's History Month, Sony does a lot for women photographers, and does a lot of support for women, and all kinds of photography. So it's my pleasure to be an ambassador for the brand, and the gear is just second to none.
And how does a photographer get to be that level?
It's just a process. I mean, just shooting with their gear and telling the stories that I was telling, and especially in sports, and they have so much gear that's just for me, cameras that shoot 30 frames per second, which makes me look like a genius because you can capture the peak moment every time. Well, at least you should. I was just, it was just a good combination of connecting with them. And they have a lot of ambassadors on different levels that do different things. And there's social media, and, they have all different kinds of ambassadors. So Sony Artisan of Imagery is just one type of ambassador that they have.
It's quite an honor. It really is.
It's quite an honor, and they're just lovely to work with.
And in 2019, you started a nonprofit called Grassroots Foundation. The goals of that are what?
Well, grassroots baseball, after I had a book come out called Grassroots Baseball, Where Legends Begin. And that was stories of baseball around the world. And each chapter opened with a legend who talked about what it was like growing up playing baseball. And after that book came out, I connected with Jeff Idelson. He had just announced his retirement from the Baseball Hall of Fame. And I wanted to give back. I was at a point in my life that giving back is most important. And that's where I'm at now, giving back to the sport I love and giving back to the craft I love. So I spend a lot of time teaching and doing workshops. And so I reached out to Jeff and said, what do you think about growing grassroots baseball into something more, into a not-for-profit and giving back at the youngest level? And he loved the idea, and lucky for me, he said yes. And so we started our not-for-profit along Route 66, and we spent 3 years having clinics with kids. Each kid got a new Rawlings baseball glove and ball, and Hall of Famers joined us all on Route 66 at minor league ballparks. And
instructing for the kids. I hear
for the kids. It was just such a great beginning. And it's celebrating the sport on the amateur level and, promoting the sport. Kids who play sports have better outcomes in school, better outcomes in health, and better outcomes in life. And of course, our choice is baseball, but really any sport is better than kids staying home and sitting at home playing video games. So it's a healthier outcome. And that's what grassroots baseball is about, is healthier outcomes for kids.
And do you still give clinics and things today?
We don't have any clinics planned yet because we just started our new grassroots baseball women. And so now we're promoting the women's game. And so we're attending a lot of women's baseball, girls baseball, and we want to promote that game because we think it's important to give more opportunities to girls and women in baseball. So through our promotion, we're hoping to help in any way we can support and grow the game, the women's game and the girls' game.
And so you obviously have a co-founder in Jeff, and you're also a traveling photographer for La Vida Baseball and La Vida Sports. And what is La Vida?
La Vida Baseball tells the story of the Latin player, past, present, future. And as you know, there's such a big portion of Major League Baseball and minor league baseball players from Latin America. And so La Vida Baseball started with the Baseball Hall of Fame. They were their Latino partner. And so they tell the stories of the Latin players. So my job is to travel and tell those stories of Latino players. And it's great for me because I've always loved that part of the game. And I spent a lot of time traveling to the Dominican Republic, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Curacao, Mexico, and all these places telling those stories. So my connection with
a favorite place that you went to?
Dominican Republic I've been to many times. And of course, you can walk any street in any town and find baseball. And it's just, it's before money and contracts. It's for the joy of baseball. So it's just absolutely my pleasure. And Cuba was probably my most favorite to photograph the amateur game. Just because, you really don't get to see those stories as much. People don't get, giving a glimpse to people into what it's like playing baseball in Cuba. And I traveled all around Cuba telling those stories, and I can't wait to go back.
You're such an amazing photographer. Your pictures are outstanding. Your access is what every professional photographer's dream about. Having done this, obviously myself, I know how hard you work. What was some of your favorite lenses that you shot with at night? That was one of my biggest things, that low light photography before, technology took over.
Oh yeah, it's so true, Jill. When I started with film cameras, and the first I was a portrait photographer before I did sports. And I got hired by local papers to shoot high school and college sports. And I was shooting baseball, which was fine during the day, as you know. So here's a beautiful sunshine. But then they sent me to shoot a Friday night lights football game. And I failed miserably because I didn't realize how bad it was. And I had all the wrong gear, and the gear just wasn't there. It was very hard to get these shots, So you look at these photographs from the photographers who came before us and, how hard it was for them to make that picture. And I really have such a deep appreciation for that, because low light is not your friend back in the day with those cameras. Today, I mean, that's, it's another reason why I'm with Sony.
Yes, it is.
Today, you can pump up the ISO as high as you need it to be, and you're not even getting any grain in these photographs. I mean, it's incredible. So same thing for you for concert photography. I'm sure you feel the same.
Absolutely. And all the equipment that you had to carry, and it made, your life a whole lot better.
I did see a glimpse of you with a long lens in the beginning of this show when I was watching. So I saw that you shot with some long glass.
And I think we share a Gitzo monopod, which is one of the best, my best friend ever in the whole wide world. It was a lifesaver many times. Let's see. I had the pleasure of watching some of your videos on YouTube. Very straightforward and to the point. I like that. You covered the Oakland A's, the San Francisco Giants, the 49ers, for over a decade?
Yeah, I'll be shooting 49ers opening night tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, what fun is that?
Yeah.
And how did you receive an invite to Cooperstown to show your work and to help build the archive? What happened there?
A photographer, Brad Mangin, who's probably one of the best baseball photographers out there, he was doing a presentation on the history of baseball photography. He was invited to the National Baseball Hall of Fame to do this presentation. And I was just working on my Latin America work, Cuba and the Dominican Republic. And I was just starting this work and I was really passionate about it. And he invited me to join him and said, would you like to come and do a presentation on that work? And it was probably one of the first presentations I did. I was very nervous to do something like that. And it was very kind of him. And Brad's a mentor of mine, along with Michael Zagaris, who's the Oakland A's photographer and 49ers photographer. So Brad is the one who invited me to Cooperstown and got things started for me. And then when I had the opportunity to be their traveling photographer, that was through because social media was becoming more important in baseball and, of course, in the world. So my job was to photograph the contemporary game and tie it back to history. And what that did for me as a photographer for the first time was teach me how to be a storyteller, teach me how to tell stories, not just take pictures of action. And it was really challenging and tremendous years of growth for me during that time.
Your two books, Route 66 and Where Legends Begin, amazing. There's over 250 photos, striking photos in each one. And like you said, when you first came on, many of the legends would come in and write the beginning, recounting their time, either going through those towns or the memories that they had. Some of the people include Whitey Ford, Johnny Bench, Hank Aaron, Nolan Ryan, Cal Ripken Jr., George Brett, just to name a few. And I'm an RV fan, so that trip down Route 66 had to be a blast. It was just amazing. But why grassroots? Where did that begin?
Grassroots was because everywhere, where I started when I was shooting portraits and then moved to sports photography, it's where I started. It was grassroots sports, and I was shooting every sport. I particularly loved baseball, and I loved the culture around baseball and the stories around baseball when I was shooting a Little League game, the fans, the parents, the coaches, the intensity. And that became really interesting to me. So then I moved up and, got to shoot at the highest level. But really, the enjoyment of shooting the amateur game, that pure love of the game, before money, before contracts, all of that, that still remains my favorite part of the game. It's the grassroots game. So telling those stories and where it all begins and everybody playing baseball. And the nice thing about it is when people see that book and they see the pictures in there, it evokes a memory for them. Usually what I get is a story of them playing, a story of their kid playing, their first game, when they got their first autograph signed. And I never tire of the stories.
That's good. The past week, we saw some photographs that you shot of my producer, Anna Samamanu's alma mater, Montclair University, and she loved the photos, and I want to thank you for making her smile.
Oh, those women were great.
Live without our Anna. Right now, we're going to switch to Jeff. My other guest this evening is Jeff Idelson. And Jeff, your resume is quite impressive. Did you play sports as a kid?
I did. I peaked at age 12, though, and moved on to other things.
Yes, I heard you had a great experience there as a center fielder in the Little Leagues, and that was the end of that, right?
It was. I loved baseball growing up, Jill, and it was a part of my DNA. I just realized, like most kids my age, by age 12, handling the curveball wasn't that easy. So I wanted to figure out how I could make a career out of sports since I couldn't play it, and got lucky enough to follow that path.
Boy, didn't you, though? But you were a vendor at Fenway. What did you sell?
Well, pretty much everything, popcorn and ice cream. And in this case, I was selling pennants, I guess. And that was in the, what's that?
And the beer here?
No, well, Fenway is probably one of the only venues in America that doesn't sell beer in the stands, and probably for good reason.
Well, you became an intern in the Red Sox PR department, also producing home games for the Red Sox radio network, serving as a flagship station liaison to the Red Sox primary charity, the Jimmy Fund. In '89, you went off to the rival New York Yankees. In '94, you spent 15 months working for the World Cup USA, charged with staging the '94 Soccer Cup in America, and then the National Baseball Hall of Fame, and now co-founding Grassroots Baseball. I'd like to step back a little bit in time and ask you, was there one job that you've done through your career that is a favorite?
It's hard to say, Jill. I mean, they all had such great moments. When you grow up in Boston, grow up hating the Yankees, you think the whole world is this small little borough of New England. But then getting to work for the Yankees really opened my eyes, and I got to work a little bit with your late husband, Billy. And then, of course, Cooperstown was incredibly special because of all the legends that call that home. And a lot of guys that I ended up working with ended up getting inducted. Jim Rice, Wade Boggs, Goose Gossage, Dave Winfield. So they all added to the mix of an incredible life I've been lucky enough to live. And, of course, Whitey and Yogi, two of my favorites. May they both rest in peace.
Aw. Many people are truly unaware of why someone is picked over another. Can you elaborate on that?
For the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Yeah, it's no different than really any award you can think of. There's a great deal of subjectivity to it. Of course, to make it to Cooperstown, you have to be at the top of the game. You have to be the cream of the crop as a player, manager, umpire, or executive. And those that are there truly belong. And few people realize, Jill, just how difficult it is to make it. Maybe there's about 1% that make it who played the game. So, when you think of someone who's not there that you think should be, there's a good chance they're in the top 2 or 3%. And when you look at managers who had an impact in the game, Billy certainly was there. And he
where I'm going with this.
I kind of figured. But, he won it.
Family won't speak to me otherwise.
He won everywhere, Jill, and we all know that. And, hopefully one day that happens. And even if it doesn't diminish the incredible impact he had on the game and his skill as a really, really critical thinker.
And before I forget, I need to say thank you to you. I am researching the both of you before interviewing you tonight. I realized that you had an incredible hand in helping us to bury my husband. And wasn't that right when you came with the Yankees? And we are so incredibly grateful for your participation in that to help it as smooth as it did.
You're welcome, Jill. It was, I've been there about 10 or 11 months and was just like you and everybody else completely in shock when I got the call on Christmas Day. And from there on, it was like, how do we dignify Billy? How do we give him the best possible send off? And, the church service at St. Patrick's was incredible. There were, I think, 3 times as many people outside the chapel as inside. And then to have the procession up to Valhalla, where he's buried with guys like Ruth and Gehrig, it was a pretty poignant day.
So some people would look at the job that you had and say, it was the greatest job in the world. Why did you leave?
Leave the Yankees?
No, the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh, why did I leave the baseball? It was because it was time. I mean, I was ready. I had accomplished a lot that I thought I had wanted to do. And at the same time, Gene had put together this incredible book. And so it sort of was, in some ways, sort of a divine intervention where I was thinking of leaving. And she's like, what do you think about turning this into a not-for-profit? And I love the game. I mean, I love the game to its core. And I thought to myself, after spending decades in major league stadiums and all-star games and World Series, the opportunity to go back and make a difference at high school fields and sandlots and really work with Jean to make a difference was appealing to me. And so it really wasn't a hard choice. I was familiar with her work from having worked at the Hall of Fame, and I'm so glad that I did.
Good. And you're living in San Francisco now.
I am. Yeah, I am. I'm living in San Francisco, and just like in New York, I have two teams I can root for.
There we go. And how do we buy your beautiful books? I have two of them. I'm so grateful. And hopefully one day I'll get you guys to sign them. Where does someone go to find out about your organization, how they can help, how they can get involved, and buy the books as well?
You want to take that, Jean? Want me to?
Grassrootsbaseball.org.
Okay.
Come visit us at grassrootsbaseball.org, and you can hear about our new women's project, and we update it all the time, the website, and so it's got a lot of information on there. So we'd love people to come visit if they're interested.
And your net proceeds from the book goes to support your nonprofit Grassroots Baseball mission to promote and celebrate the amateur game around the globe with a focal on growing interest and participation at the youngest levels. The pictures of the kids are just to die for. And Jeff, what are some of your thoughts on the rewarding experiences from Grassroots and your plans for Grassroots up and coming?
Oh, the experience has been incredibly rewarding. Getting to, as you know, in an RV, traverse Route 66 and really dovetail through all 8 states and just see how important the game is, not only in big cities like St. Louis and Chicago, but in tiny little towns like Baxter Springs, Kansas, and Amarillo, Texas, and places like that. And the future is bright. We have some this great project of girls and women in baseball on and off the field, past, present, and future around the globe that needs to be told. We want to shine a light on all the girls and women who are making great strides in the game. And we just look to continue to grow the game, to help grow the game, promote the game, and give people a reason to love the game.
And I hear that women are going to play World Cup qualifiers this year.
They are, yeah. This is the second stage of 2 stages. So Canada hosts one of the qualifiers in August at Thunder Bay, Ontario. 8 teams, and then 8 countries will be in Japan in September. And then from that will emerge 12 finalists who will play the World Cup in the summer of 24.
And Gina, I guess you're going to photograph all that, huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is it's the time, the doors have just been blown off the hinges in the past 18 months alone with what women are doing in baseball. First woman playing in minor league baseball to record a hit, Kelsey Whitmore. Rachel Balkovic for the Yankees, managing in minor league baseball. Alyssa Nacken right here in San Francisco, first female coach for a major league baseball team. 20 women last year played college baseball on men's college baseball, women playing on men's college baseball. We're heading in a few days to Brown University, the first woman to play D1 men's college baseball. Olivia Pichardo is there as a freshman. So, I mean, there's just and Baseball for All, this organization that's also here in Northern California, they're all over the world now. They're international, but they're so strong here in the United States. And they have all these young girls playing baseball on all different levels. And it's really exciting. This is an exciting time for women in baseball on and off the field.
Sure sounds like it. And Jeff, I have another question for you. If Billy was standing here today, what would you ask him?
What would I ask him? Oh boy, I would ask him, I guess, is there going to be a Billy 7 in New York?
He did have a lifetime contract.
He did. It went on and on, back and forth. But no, I think I would probably try to talk game strategy with him and talk about his great relationship with my dear friend Mickey Morabito and how it was that he got him to go to Oakland with him way back when in 1980.
Yes, he did. He certainly did. He wanted to go back when he got off the plane. It's an honor to have you both on my show tonight. I hope you come back. I wish you great success. I can't wait to see more of your photos, Jean, and meet you personally. And you make us proud to be women.
Oh, thank you. What a pleasure. What a pleasure to be on this show. Keep taking those beautiful pictures, Jill.
Well, you too. And you make me want to be young again. Thank you. All right, you guys. That's a wrap of our show, and I want to thank you for joining us this evening. This has been worth the price of admission, but don't change the station yet. Stay tuned for my buddy Orestes Destrada and his show, The Ozone. See you next week.
Someone who turns your heart around, and next thing you know, you're closing down the town. Wake up and it's still with you, even though you left your way across town. Wondering to yourself, hey, what am I about? When you get caught between the moon and New York City, I know it's crazy, but it's true. If you get caught between the moon and New York City, that's what you can do. Best that you can do is fall in love. Arthur, he does as he pleases. All of his life, his master's toys, and deep in his heart, he's just a boy, living his life one day at a time. He's showing himself.
WTAN, Clearwater.
FM 106.1.
WDCF, Dade City.
FM 102.3.
WZHR, Zephyrhills.
FM 104.3.
Listen.
And a happy Wednesday, everybody. Here's a look at your Bay Area forecast. It's going to be a pretty nice day out there today. A bit cooler at a high reaching only 79 degrees. Overnight low tonight, 62. Tomorrow's high a bit warmer at 83 degrees. Doesn't look like any rain in sight for the next 4 or 5 days or so. And a look at those rising sea levels, otherwise known as tides. High tide this afternoon at 12:05 p.m. Low tide tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Sunset is at 7:48 p.m. tonight. Now, here's the latest from CBS News.
In the hospital.
He will be remaining for several days.
Did the Nashville shooter have weapons training?
The suspect was in an upper level.
Over-the-counter Narcan approved.
A step forward in trying to prevent deaths from opioid overdose.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jennifer Kuiper in Chicago. A respiratory infection lands Pope Francis in the hospital during the busy Lenten season. CBS's Seth Doan in Rome.
His team was reportedly pleased with the results of some of these tests. They saw a decent level of blood oxygen saturation, but he is being kept there. Of course, he is an 86-year-old man who has had health problems in the past. As a younger man, he had very severe pneumonia and had one lung removed.
Audiences canceled through Friday. Hofstra University papal expert Phyllis Sagano on the days leading up to Easter.
If he is cleared to perform or participate in the Holy Week ceremonies, he will. He, as far as I know, only has one bad knee. He had a small fracture and a torn ligament. He seems to be working more with a cane now, although he does use the wheelchair a lot.
First Lady Jill Biden expected to be among those attending a vigil in Nashville underway this hour for the 6 people killed in Monday's school shooting. CBS News has learned the Covenant school shooter had weapons training. Nashville Police Chief John Drake.
We believe there's been some training of being able to shoot from a higher level.
7 California Highway Patrol officers in L.A. are charged with involuntary manslaughter in the death of a man in custody for driving under the influence.
The incident took place in March 2020.
Have a seat and provide your arm.
38-year-old Edward Bronstein, a nurse, was pulled over. He was taken to a highway patrol station where he allegedly resisted in submitting to a blood test. That's when the altercation began. As he was being held down, he struggled to get free. At one point, he could be heard saying he cannot breathe. The district attorney says the officers had a legal duty to help Bronstein. Their failure, he says, caused his death and is criminally negligent. Steve Futterman, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The FDA approves over-the-counter Narcan as a nasal spray. It's a brand of naloxone, a medication that quickly reverses the effects of opioid overdose. CBS's Dr. John LaPook.
It's easy to use and works quickly. And the hope is for this to become widely available to try to curb the epidemic of opioid overdose deaths we're seeing now.
Experts say drug overdose deaths are spiking. CBS's Monica Ricks.
New research from UCLA shows drug overdose fatalities among people over 65 have quadrupled over the last 2 decades, many from suicides caused by prescription opioids, antidepressants, and sedatives. Experts say those numbers should force doctors to consider mental health when writing prescriptions.
Now this.
Staples stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Did you ever think about hosting your very own radio show? Here's how.
Hey, Tampa Bay, did you know you can have a 1-hour program on the Tan Talk Radio Network for less than the cost of one 60-second announcement on many Tampa Bay stations? That's right. We'll put you on the radio for less than the cost of one 60-second announcement on many stations. Check it out today. Use your program to promote yourself, your business, or someone else's business. Call Lola Jean, the broadcast queen, 727-510-7622. That's 510-7622. Call Lola Jean now to check out your Tan Talk Network program. In addition to network radio, we'll stream your program in audio and video all over the world. Call Lola Jean now, 727-510-7622. Call today. Your network 1-hour program can start tomorrow. Broadcast your message in audio and video on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Capture the magic of aviation at this year's Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo. Be dazzled by daily and nightly air shows, live entertainment, over 500 exhibits, and more for the whole family. Bring kids under 10 for free and take fun to new heights all week long. Don't miss out. Get tickets and a guaranteed parking pass at flysnf.org.
March 28th through April 2nd.
We're back in Dade City. Your adventure begins at the Bay Area Renaissance Festival. 8 stages of exciting and hilarious entertainment. Full contact live armored jousting, mermaids, fairies, pirates, Vikings, and more. Endless shopping at more than 100 different artesian booths. The Bay Area Renaissance Festival. Family fun for all. Weekends, February 19th through April 3rd. Mark your calendars and get your tickets now at BayAreaRenfest.com.
Hello there, Tampa Bay. This is former NFL and college football coach Jimmy Johnson. Listen to the Kelly Show every Monday starting at 5 p.m. They can sure use the attention.
And this is former Major League Baseball player, Hall of Famer Wade Boggs. I also hope you listen to the Kelly Show every Monday starting at 5 p.m. They can darn sure use the money.
Hi there. This is marine wildlife artist and conservationist Dr. Guy Harvey. Please listen to the Kelly Show every Monday starting at 5 p.m. They need to feel worthy.
Hi, this is Prior Smith speaking from Toronto with an invitation to join me Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. and 12 noon for Canada Calling, the daily update of news from home for vacationing Canadians, right here on WTAN Clearwater, Dunedin, 1340 AM and 106.1 FM, on WDCF in Dade City, 1350 and 102.3 FM, and on WZHR in Zephyrhills at 1400 and 104.3 FM. That's Canada Calling on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hi, this is Jay Leno. Hey, this is Ted Nugent.
Hi, everybody. This is David Hobbs.
Hi, this is Bob Varsho.
Hey, this is Danny the Count Coker.
Hey, this is comedian, author, and most importantly, vintage race car driver, Adam Carolla.
Hi, this is Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney.
I'm John Forrest.
Hey, this is Jack Roush.
And you're listening to Nostalgic Radio and Cars.
That's Nostalgic Radio and Cars with the most fascinating and legendary names in motorsports every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Tampa Bay's Tan Talk. Entertaining and informative radio for the Sunshine State.
7 to 7:30. The Ozone. With your host, former Major League Baseball player Orestes Destrada. From 7:30 to 8, reach out with host, New York Yankees community consultant
Ray Negron,
Frankie Valli's musical director
Robbie Robinson,
and psychologist
Steve Vaccaro.
Co-host Santiago Pinckney. Special guest Brooke Green, Liliana, and Tina Nichols. That's coming up Wednesday, March 29th, live on the Chapters Network and the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Imagine, if you will, submitted for your approval, several enigmatic tales and stories on a very curious radio show. The signpost up ahead reads that you have entered the Ozone.
Hello. This is not the Ozone, Orestes Destrada. It is his show. Bobby, what the heck is going on here?
Well, it looks like you're in the big seat.
I see that here. I can't replace Orestes.
You can't, but you're gonna have to try.
I know, Bobby. You got to tell me these things, man. I got other things to do.
Well, that's how we do it in here. We throw somebody in real fast.
There you go. You got. It's kind of a New York thing, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
but if you say so.
I can't do it alone, so I brought some friends with me. I have Lily to my left, and I have Santiago to my right. And guys, welcome to the Ozone.
Yeah, hi.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Lily, you're 14, and you play baseball, right?
Yes.
Why is baseball important to you?
It is important to me because it helps prove that women can do what we want, and we can help in like pushing other girls to do what they want.
I love that. Did you always feel that way?
Yes.
Wow. So your position do you play?
I play catcher and shortstop.
Do you ever have any issues with the guys on the team, or what's your plans moving forward?
My plans moving forward is to hopefully push more girls and to help other people get into their comfort zone. And I've had some troubles with boys. I've had a couple boys not want me playing, but I've had a ton of boys in my league want me there.
Wow. So you just keep pushing. You don't care what they say to you, right?
No.
So the catcher, I feel, is the most important position on the field because you got to know what's going on. You're the one that's handling the ball and working with the pitcher. Do you like catching?
Yes. It's one of my favorite.
Yeah. So what's your batting like? What's your slap hitter, singles hitter, power hitter? What are you?
I'm more of a singles hitter, but I can do some power hitting.
Okay. So talk about why it's a struggle for women to kind of play, to get recognized. Why is it still a struggle?
It's mainly a struggle because most of us play in different leagues, and there's not like many of us together, except for BFA now. But that's mainly it.
Okay, so you keep pushing along. So I have Santiago here. Now, you don't play baseball.
No, sir.
No, but you do sing now, right?
Yes, sir.
So why is it important for you to do what you do at 16 years old?
Well, really, in my opinion, it's the performing arts is taking a big decline, I've noticed. And unfortunately, that's happening. So singing to me is pushing out the word. It's getting out the word that we're still here. There's still awesome things that needs to be done. And there's so many things that needs to be fulfilled in the performing arts that we still have yet to accomplish. And I just feel that in order to see a change, you have to be the change you want to see.
Wow. Does it ever get better than that? I mean, we got people in this room here that are listening to you and listening to Lily. You're 14. You're 16. You're about an hour and a half away from the studio. So that shows the passion that you both have to change this world, right?
Yes.
So as young people, thanks, Bobby. As young people, I'm going to ask a tough question here because you guys are in school. Lily, what's your thoughts about Nashville? What happened?
I'm not really sure.
Not sure. What do you think? What do you think, Santiago?
I feel that in this state of nature that we're in, it's becoming more and more prevalent that these type of things are happening. And it's a terrible, terrible thing what happened in Nashville. And I give all of my condolences and love to the families who suffered loss, and to the school, and to the shooter's family, because it's awful what happens in situations like what happened.
Right. Now, you are involved in your church, right?
Yes, sir.
So you are involved with the Word of God. You're involved with the music, and I'm assuming that you also sing in the choir.
I do.
So what kind of message do you like to send in church to other people when you're singing or being part of the service?
It's not over. The fight, the great fight that we fight every day in our lives, it's not over. We're still trying to move toward peace and joy and happiness. The pursuit of happiness is what this country was developed on, and really it should be what the world is developed on. And happiness needs to be significant in everyone's life. And I really do feel that what we need to do is we need to come together as one, not separately, and we need to look at the world as a peaceful place and make it a peaceful place.
Well said. Now you sing. I was hoping, I know you're going to be on the other show, Reach Out, in a little while, but do you have a song that you could sing to our listeners right now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is a beautiful song. It tells about the love that Etta James had. And last, my love has come along. My lonely days are over, and life is like a song. Oh yeah, at last. Thank you.
Wow. Lily, what do you think?
It's really good.
Thank you so much.
Really, really good. I mean, you're an amazing baseball player. You're an amazing singer. You're both amazing heroes in this generation that we need young heroes. And Lily, you're on a team right now, correct?
Yes.
Talk about your team a little bit.
So I have two teams. I'm on the Florida Bolts, which is all girls. We all work very hard. We're from all over Florida, but we have some girls who don't live in Florida because their states don't have teams. But we're a very good team. We go all over the place for nationals. This year, we're going to Kentucky.
Wow.
But it's very exciting that we all get to work together.
Now, it's really cool because we bumped into each other with your mom at the Yankee-Rays game. You notice I said Yankee first, the Yankees-Rays game. And it was a fun time,
Where
right?
are you?
It's a fun... Bobby, this is the ozone here. But
I know.
Okay, all right.
Fair
Thanks,
enough.
Bobby.
just checking.
All right, thank you, Bobby, for correcting me there. So we're at the game, and it's important you're with your mom, with your family, with your brother. It's a pretty cool thing to do, go to a game with your family, right?
Yeah, it's actually very fun because my family is probably my biggest supporters. So having them there is better.
That's right. That's right. And Santiago, you were part of the Bat Boy show. You came in to do the national anthem, but then Ray Negron got your hands on you, and you began to sing part of our performance. What was that like for you?
Oh, it was amazing. It was a very, very familiar feeling. I love being on the stage, and getting to meet someone like Ray was just great because he's doing so much for the community and so much for the Yankees. The fact that he's in this baseball business for 50 years is just astounding, and I give him applause for it. And it was awesome. It was an awesome achievement to be
Wow.
here.
So I know we got the big O on the line there. Oh, how you doing? I couldn't do it alone. I had to bring in Lily.
No, bro.
And
Thank
Santiago. I couldn't do it alone. I can't step in for the O.
No, yeah, you can, man. Thank you for covering for me. I got a little sideline there with a little flu bug that hit me on and knocked me on my proverbial culo. But I'm hanging in there, man. Thanks for pinch hitting for me. You're like the great Manny Mota.
Manny, but we got Santiago here. You remember Santiago from our show, right?
Santiago's. Oh, I love it, man. The kid with the sweet voice.
Yeah, he's been singing on your show. So the next time you come in studio, you're gonna have to sing.
Oh my gosh! You know what? Then I gotta clear this little chest cold that I got going on, so I can give him a little bit my Lou Rawls.
Lou Rawls. Oh, you bring up the old school here.
I'm more of a baritone, and and I don't have too many levels that I can reach. And right now, I'm having trouble just talking, so I'm hanging in.
Well, you're doing a great job. 727-441-3000. This is the Ozone. We got Restless Estrada there. Now, you just on the heels of the WBC, where Japan took it to the U.S. So what were your thoughts about that?
My thoughts were that it was a great tournament. You know, it was something that I think MLB, did a phenomenal job of kind of reinstituting this great kind of global reach tournament after a hiatus, obviously because of the COVID pandemic, and they had to skip a beat there. So the last time was 2007. So 2017. But the bottom line was that it ended up culminating better than anybody thought. I mean, you could have the two top teams, USA against Japan, and you have the two top players in the last, at bat, 3-2, bottom of the ninth with Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. You couldn't ask for a better situation. I was able to be there, Sunday when they were practicing, Monday when Team Japan, had that incredible comeback against Team Mexico, and then obviously Tuesday night with that dramatic 3-2 game against Team USA. I think everybody won overall. 35,000 showed up on Monday night, and then 40,000 on Tuesday night. By the way, I'm going to be back in that stadium on Friday. I'll be there tomorrow for opening day at the Marlins. They're flying me in and a few other guys from the original team of 30 years ago, April 5th, 1993, and they're honoring us and having a little, pre-ceremony Friday night before the game to commemorate, what was a beautiful start to Major League Baseball in the state of Florida with Joe DiMaggio throwing out the first pitch. And I want to commend, on the air and anywhere that I can, what a great job the Marlins did hosting the WBC. It's not an easy task because, you have so many different things going around between, they had Team Mexico, Team Cuba, Team Japan, Team USA. They were all kind of playing off there that weekend and leading into that Monday and Tuesday. And they handled it beautifully. So it's not an easy task for an organization to just take a step back and be hosts like that. And they really took it beautifully. And I got to commend the Marlins, Jason Lattimore, the PR Vice President of Public Relations, and the whole organization. They did a great job.
This is the Ozone, 727-441-3000. Orestes Estrada is talking about 30 years ago. I can't believe it's 30 years.
Yeah, I was a prodigy. I was only 13 years old.
I see that. So Santiago and Lily have hope here because
I was like one of those hockey players. They're up at 15 or something like that.
Yeah, but
or Al Kaline. Al Kaline, I think, was in the major leagues at 17.
But
no, I was exactly 30 years old. So this was definitely half a lifetime ago for me, and it was incredible. First of all, opening day period in Major League Baseball has no rival at all. I mean, if you think about opening day when they drop the puck first game in hockey, NHL, they tip off in basketball, they kick off in football, whatever sport, it really pales to opening day Major League Baseball because of the fact that it has this kind of like Americana fresh spring, and it just I think everybody has a fond memory, whether you're a boy or a girl, a man or a woman, young or old. I think you all have a memory of an opening day, and this even transcends, if you think about it, into Little League. Right. I think the coolest day is opening day for Little League. I do a lot of Little League openings in the spring. Most of those are in February, and when you march out with all the teams and all the Little Leaguers and T-ballers and softball players, I think that baseball will always have that kind of uniqueness that kind of really brings families together, and there's such a closeness and there's such a specialness to baseball and softball in our background of the United States.
No doubt. Opening day baseball doesn't get better than that, because not only it's an afternoon game, it kicks off the baseball season, but if you're lucky enough to have a ticket, you're playing hooky from school, which is the best thing. And we have Lily here, who's 14 years old, who's going to the Rays opening day tomorrow night and tomorrow during the day, and you're playing hooky, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, I hope your principal's not listening
Who is that now? Who is that?
Lily, she's a female baseball player here. She's a catcher, 14 years old. Lily, say hello to Big O.
Hello.
Hey, Lily. Hey, good for you. Have you been to an opening day before?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, you would know. You would know the pomp and circumstance and all the excitement and all the things that go around, just before even the first pitch is something that is to be enjoyed. So, I know that baseball sometimes, they're trying to speed it up a little bit now with the new rules, and it could be a long game. But that first game, and I still love, Stevie, that MLB has not changed that one big thing, which is opening day is still a day game.
Right.
I don't care what day of the year, if it's on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or obviously a weekend. It's a day game, and that should never, ever, ever change, because that kind of is synonymous with baseball, nationwide.
No doubt. This is the Ozone. If you want to call in, 727-441-3000. Let's make some predictions here. How are the Rays, the Marlins, the Yankees, the Mets going to do this year?
Well, listen, they're the Rays and the Marlins are both in what I call the beast of the East, and that is the East Division. And the Rays once again are going to be the little engine that could, as far as having to be pitted. That they're not favored, but there's many years that they haven't been favored and they've come out on top. So they're pitching. They got a couple of guys that are nicked up that need to get back in there. Obviously, the main one is Tyler Glass. Now he's going to be out for the first few weeks of the season. They hope to have him back by May. But their pitching staff is stacked. McClanahan is throwing obviously as the opener tomorrow, and that kid is every year now we're expecting him to be a Cy Young candidate as he was last year. So their pitching is as strong, if not stronger than ever. Their hitting, I'm a little disappointed, to be candid with you, that they didn't go out and get some more bats. And they did. I mean, they've got some pretty good bats in there. They can stay healthy. The two key guys that you're going to be looking for are up the middle. You've got the incredible young talent, 21-year-old Wander Franco at shortstop, who was injured not once but twice last year, and so we're still looking to have him have a full season. And so if he's healthy, he's the type of guy that can hit 300, knock about 25 homers and drive in 100 while playing incredible defense. And then on the opposite side of him, just as important, is Brandon Lau, who missed probably half the season last year, just like Franco did, but he had a back injury, and he looked pretty good in the spring. And if he's healthy, he's a 40-homer guy. Maybe not as high average, but definitely as high a home runs and RBIs. And then, they've got some guys that people don't know too much about, and Jose Siri in center field, Josh Lowe. You got to keep an eye on the corners with Paredes at third base with 20 homers last year. He's just ready to break out. And then, obviously, Yandy Diaz, they were able to tie him up with a sweetheart deal at first base. And then there's a guy that had a great WBC for Team Mexico, the Cuban, and Randy Arozarena. He's an MVP candidate. So they've got three guys in Arozarena, Lau, and Franco that, could vie for MVP. Like, they're that type of dynamic players. They're not one-dimensional. And we'll see if that shows up, because other than that, their hitting is going to struggle. So those are the guys that need to kind of stay healthy and stay consistent. But pitching-wise, holy cow, they can pitch with anybody.
Well, we got a caller here. Let's put the call on the line. Are you there,
we have
sir?
a long time listener, first time caller here.
Okay, I like that, Bobby. Long time listener, first time caller. Are you there?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to the Ozone.
Who do we have here?
So, hi, Big O. This is Anna.
Oh,
Hey,
Anna.
Miss Anna, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am a little under the weather, but hanging in there.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But anyway, I was actually calling because I see the time and everything, and I don't want to steal the spotlight from anybody. But I need to say hello to my girl Lily.
Oh, Lily. Okay, we've been upstage though. Lily, you got a call. You got a fan out there.
Hi, Anna.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm
Now,
doing
is she one of your students?
No, they've been working together since we did our show Bat Boy, and now they're teaming up. And seems like they want your own show, Anna and Lily. What do you think?
I like it. I like it.
But Anna, thank you for calling in. Thank you.
Just real quick, I just want to say, Steve, do not put my girl Lily on blast.
Okay.
She's calling Hooky for a good reason.
Oh, there we go. I got you.
Just don't tell anybody.
Yeah, we're not going to tell anybody here. Oh, said it was okay. Wait a minute. Orestes said it was okay. Opening day was the biggest thing going. Right
he's
now?
the host, so you know.
Opening day, you get. I think any kid. I think school should be a holiday for opening day. That's what I think.
So Orestes, you have to write a pass or a letter to the principal.
I got it.
You got it. Okay, wait a minute. Wait. You talk Rays. You talk Marlins. You left out the Yankees and Nats. What do you think? What do you think of Anthony Volpe?
I love that kid, and I think eventually you're going to see him being a regular at shortstop. You know, right now there's still, you know, he still has a little bit of experience to gain, but I think this is a kid that had an incredible spring, and they have their eyes set on him. There's no mad rush, but I think Anthony Volpe is going to be a name that is going to be synonymous with the Yankees, and you know, but again, there's no need to rush. They have quite a few talented players. I like the Yankees. They're another team similar to the Rays. The Rays had a lot of injuries in their hitting. And they'd hurt them last year. The Yankees need to make sure that they keep their pitching healthy.
Right.
If their pitching stays healthy, they're going to be super fine. And I think they're poised. I think it's between them and the Toronto Blue Jays to win the American League East. For the Mets, listen, it's the East is the Mets for them to take. I know Atlanta is going to be a challenge again because Atlanta is every year in, year out. And then obviously you can't sleep on the Phillies because they ended up surprising everybody into the playoffs last year and making it all the way to the World Series. But really, it should be the Mets season, the way that they've set up this team and this offense and this pitching staff. You know, they lose a great pitcher in DeGrom, and they replace them with, you know, just as great one of Justin Verlander, who is a man who doesn't age. But I'm excited for the Mets. I was a Yankee and Met fan as a kid. Definitely skewing myself a little more towards the Yankees, but I'm a New York baseball fan.
Real quick, we're almost out of time. Diaz going down in WBC. That's going to hurt the Mets?
It hurt the Mets dramatically, and it was a weird injury. So it wasn't the type of injury that you can say, oh, okay, this happened. You know, it was very strange, and obviously I think there was a problem, you know, with his knee that maybe would have shown up at some point in time. But you got to take it, and you know, hopefully he recovers as quickly as possible. It is his pitching leg that you push off, so it's going to be tricky. But I think the Mets got enough guns to weather the storm until hopefully he gets back maybe, you know, the latter part of the season if possible.
Oh, we love you. Feel better, man. Safe travels to Miami. Have a great time. You deserve it, my man.
Thank you. Next week, I'll definitely have some, you know, fun stuff to talk about off of this opening day and celebration in Marlins Stadium.
Santiago, Lily, we nailed it. Take care. God bless, guys. The Ozone. Bye-bye.
You'll always ask what it's all about. Don't listen to my replies. You say to me, I don't talk enough. But when I do, I'm a fool. These times I spent, I've realized you shoot through and leave you. The things you say, your past just give you away. The things you say, you're unbelievable. But tell me more about mine. I'm always so concerned with the way you say you always have to stop to think first. Be one the smart that I ever know. But this time I realize I'm gonna shoot through and leave you. The things you say, your purpose just give you away. The things you say, you're unbelievable. You can ask us, pushing down the resin, bringing out your high self, figure the fun, pushing down the better view instead of bringing the attributes to one. the wealth and everything you ask to embrace yourself. It's great to be, I know this well and what it seems.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
From 7:30 to 8, reach out with host, New York Yankees community consultant
Ray Negron,
Frankie Valli's musical director
Robbie Robinson,
and psychologist
Steve Vaccaro,
co-host Santiago Pinckney, special guest Brooke Green, Liliana, and Tina Nichols. That's coming up Wednesday, March 29th, live on the Chapters Network and the Tan Talk Radio Network.
All the rings to prove it.
He's the figure that was larger than life.
There's no Jackie without the acceptance of Yogi Berra.
When Yogi comes to the team, they say he doesn't look like a Yankee.
He wasn't 6'3" with blonde hair. Everything about him was kind of funny.
He was a character. He was made fun of in the New York press.
But that sort of became who Yogi Berra was, this funny little guy.
That's right.
Yogi Berra!
I don't think Yogi liked it too much.
The Yogi-isms. Let's talk about the Yogi-isms.
He said, nobody goes to that restaurant anymore. It's too crowded.
When you get to a fork in the road, take it. What?
And it ain't over till it's over.
It makes a lot of sense.
That personality of his actually served to take away from his legacy as a baseball player.
It always felt wrong. It's not fair to him.
He's just a gentle, kind soul.
He was loved by so many people in this country.
Total respect for Yogi. A guy that everybody loved, not because he was cute and funny, it's because he was good and he was real.
He was the most overlooked superstar in the history of baseball.
Sunshine State. This is Tampa Bay's Tan Talk.
Change me, oh God. Make me more like you. Change me, oh God. Wash me through and through. Create in me a clean heart so that I may worship you. Thank you.
Santiago. This is Reach Out here. We're in the Clearwater studios here, 727-441-3000, FM 106.1, FM 102.3, FM 104.3, AM 1340, AM 1350, and AM 1400. And Ray, you're not in Florida anymore. Where are you these days?
I am in New York City, born and raised. Steve, how are you?
Born and raised. You flat left me here in Florida, so you're back in catching opening day at Yankee Stadium tomorrow, right?
That's right. That's right.
How do you feel about opening day?
You know what? I'm looking forward to it. I think the Yankees are going to have a very exciting baseball team this year. So it's going to be very interesting. And Volpe mania has gone like crazy in this town.
That's right. He was given number 11 too. I just saw. So he's ready to play short for the Yankees. But before we start the show, Santiago Pinckney just sang again, and I know you know of him.
Is he in your studio now, Steve?
He's in the studio right now. He just sang. Santiago, say hello to Ray.
Hi, Mr. Ray. How you doing?
Good, my brother. You sound great as always. Keep going, big guy. I think we just texted each other a little while ago, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Nice. So he came in the studio because he wants to share that voice of his, and it's opening day. We had the Ozone, and then Jill Martin did her show, and the Chapters did his show, their show. And tonight on Reach Out, it's all about women's baseball, the Florida Bolts. So we have Brooke, Lily, and Tina in studio, along with Santiago. So, Brooke, I'm going to start with you first. Talk about why is it important for women to play baseball and move beyond where they are right now?
Well, I think the better question is why not?
Right.
At the end of the day, we tell our kids, you can do anything you want to do. You can be anything you want to be. But then when it comes time to kind of push the norm and we don't know where that started from, whoever said boys have to play baseball and girls have to play softball, when the girls start to go against the norm or the boys start to go against the norm, why are we shutting them down? Why is it that we tell them, hey, you can do anything you want to be, you can be anything you want to be, but then at 13, 14 years old, we're going, no, sorry, you can't. So, my daughter, she's been playing baseball since she was 5. She's been passionate about baseball since she was 5. She's been pushed to go to softball. She has stuck to her guns and said, nope, I'm not doing it. This is my sport. So why do we have to? Why should we tell them or tell her or the other girls in the state of Florida or around the country, or, there's all girls teams in Australia, UK. Why do we have to tell them, hey, this isn't your sport, when they're equally just as good at what they're doing?
Right. And Tina, you are part of the Florida Bolts too. Explain your involvement and how you met Brooke.
Well, I was in Walmart one night and I was in a hurry. And I'm walking down the aisle and I saw her shirt and it said girls baseball, women's baseball. And she was on the telephone and I just stopped in my tracks and looked at her and I said, I have to know about that shirt. And so she was on the phone. She got off the phone. She explained to me about the Florida Bolts and the progress of girls in baseball. And at that point in time, I had not been on a baseball field in about 13 years. And I just looked at her and she told me about Lily, and I just wanted to get involved right away with them.
Yeah.
And why is it important for women to play baseball separate from the men?
It's very important for women, girls, to have a league of their own and to play in a league of only women. I grew up on an island in Key West, and I wanted to play baseball. And I started to play with the Little League, the Middle League, and the Pony League. And I sustained my first concussion at 14 years old by boys that didn't want me on a baseball field.
Wow.
So
that stayed with you.
It stayed with me for a long time, yes. That was only my first concussion. So I've had several by boys and men that didn't want me on the field. I played in the first MABL league and the MSBL league in Miami. And, there was a lot of men that didn't want me on the field.
Right.
And so I was a pitcher and I also played first base. So when I was on first base, there was a lot of men that just footballed me off of the bag.
Wow. This is Reach Out. Ray, when you hear these stories, 50 years in baseball, I know you're working with boys and girls and on and off the field. When you're listening to this, what are your thoughts?
Listen, it's, women are pioneers, just like the African-American players of the era and stuff like that. And, so what Tina says doesn't surprise me. The fact that she stayed on the field all these years and continues, that makes me feel that she's a hero out there, because she's a great example to the other women who want to play. And I'm sure that what she's gone through has made other players stay on the field.
No doubt. I think we have a call, 727-441-3000. Let's take that call. Are you there?
Hello.
Hi, welcome to Reach Out. Do you have something to offer about women's baseball?
I play for the Utah Dirt Devils.
Is this Alexia?
Hi, this is Addison.
Hey, hi.
So Addison is one
She's
of
in a
our
full-on panic mode.
Don't worry, Lily's nervous too. So Addison is actually one of our Florida Bolts girls who does not live in the state of Florida. She actually lives in Utah.
Wow.
But Utah does not have an all-girls baseball organization. So for me, I felt like if you don't have a league and you don't have an organization in your state, join us. We will help you get those resources. So Addison, I'm excited.
Addison, thank you very much. What position do you play?
What position?
I play first base and pitcher.
Okay,
Yes,
first
you
base
keep
and
with that,
pitcher.
Addison. Never give up on your dream, okay?
Never give up. How old are you, Addison?
I'm 13.
13. God bless you. Keep up that passion. Thank you for calling here. Reach out. So, Lily, when you hear your teammate talking like that, I mean, it must inspire you. And as a team, your efforts to really get that word out is important, right?
Yes.
And for you, talk about your teammates. How important it is to play with these girls that aren't all from Florida. How do you have your practices? How is that set up?
So since we're all over Florida, we travel to the most, where most girls are. And if they're separated, we go to, wherever they are. And we have practices. If they're out of state, we usually have at least 1 or 2 practices before the tournament.
Wow. So, Tina, when you hear this, I know that you're in the middle of doing a book, too. And obviously your life passion is to get women more recognized in the baseball world.
Absolutely.
So
it's been a long haul.
It's been a long haul. So 5 years, what's your goal for the next 5 years? Where would you like to see things from this point on?
5 years. You're talking about going back to the 1940s. I mean, 30 years have passed in my life. And I looked at Brooke the other day and I said, Brooke, I was doing the same thing 30 years ago.
Wow.
It is time. Let the girls play. Give them a chance. Give them an opportunity. Give them, a way that they can make a living. A way that if you get injured on the field, that there's benefits there to pay for their injuries. We don't have any of that. I mean, I've seen through my career, I've seen girls with their teeth knocked out, injured on the field, no insurance. And, it's strictly been for love of the game for us to play. So in 5 years, that's an awful long time. I would certainly like to see youth-based baseball grow. There is a mission. There is a girls baseball revolution going on right now. I have never seen these many girls in my life play baseball. They are on a mission, and I don't believe they're going to stop. There's no stopping these girls.
Well, Brooke, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that Tina's right. There is a movement right now for women in baseball. We have Kelsey Whitmore. We have Rachel Balkovic on the Tampa Yankees, who is a coach. We have Olivia, who just started with the D1 school. And we don't necessarily want to infiltrate into the MLB. I don't necessarily think that all of the girls are like, we want to play in the MLB. I think that many of them just want to have, and no pun intended, a league of their own.
Yes.
I think that they want to be able to go to a college and try out for a college women's baseball team, which we're starting to have those. Cal Poly just got a women's baseball league. I believe there's 4 other colleges as well. So that the start of those is where, like, my daughter Lily has that inspiration to say, hey, you know what? Just because you're telling me I have to go to softball doesn't mean that I don't have an opportunity to play in college. But where do they go from college? They're just supposed to stop, or they're just supposed to become a coach for a baseball team, which, that Lily wants to do that. That's one of her goals, but it's because there's nowhere for her to go. If there was a WMLB, then she would have that opportunity to play. And that's one of the reasons that I have pushed for my organization. I took it over, and I feel passionately about giving that opportunity to these girls, resources, and hopefully, they see that and they continue.
Right. Basketball came out with the WNBA 25, 26, 27 years ago, and they're flourishing. And I think the efforts that you all are making, along with what's going on around the nation, it's time for women's baseball to really step up and be in the forefront, just like the women in basketball, WNBA, because it doesn't have to stop after college, right?
I've always thought that as the NBA helped the WNBA, somehow Major League Baseball should definitely get, in touch with these girls. And I think baseball today needs something more. It needs something more than just baseball. I mean, I go to games and there's not a lot of people there anymore.
Right.
And I don't know if this is the answer to baseball, but at least it's something to try that's never been tried before. And, I just let the girls play.
Right. And as the show is going on, there's comments coming left and right that we can't read. So after the show is aired, feel free to look at the YouTube video. Ray, what's your thoughts on women's baseball and where it should be at this point in time? Ray, you still there? Maybe we lost Ray. So this is Reach Out, 727-441-3000. Feel free to call in. And Lily, I'm going to ask you, when you're playing baseball with the boys at this point, right?
Yes.
Do you wish things had changed right now, or are you willing to kind of persevere to get to the point to help other girls?
I wish that it started now, because the girls that are older than me are still struggling, and they've probably been struggling since my age. So I wish that for them, but I wish I could still persevere through it.
Mm-hmm. So you're on a mission, because if you stop playing with the boys, that's a message that we don't want to hear. That we want to see you flourish with the boys, so that your league and other girls can also be in the same position you are as one team in a league. Yeah. So, Brooke, what are your thoughts about that? Because I'm sure there's a lot of little league in the Florida area that do not really cater to girls playing in little league.
So, honestly, I think Lily has been pretty lucky. When she was 5, she approached us and said, "Mom, I want to play baseball." And I thought, okay, great. And we went to a little league nearby, and they said, "No, sorry, we have a softball program. She has to play softball." And she immediately was like, "I'm not doing it." I mean, at 5 years old, she knew she did not want to play softball. So we went to another league down the road, and they were like, "Yeah, we have no problem with her playing." She has had one coach. She's had several coaches that have always encouraged her, but she has one particular coach, Joe, who has just taken her under his wing for the last 8 years. And then we also got introduced to Juliana, who was also on our Florida Bolts team. And these two girls were the only girls for the longest time. And she still works with Joe. She's on Joe's team even now. Fernando's working with her. But she's never really experienced that boys discriminating against her. She's had one incident in our league. She's had a couple of incidences and outside leagues where the boys don't have girls in their league. So they were kind of like, "Oh, look, there's a girl," or there's comments.
Right.
She's learned to embrace it, let it roll off her back. Not me, not so much, but that's okay. But that's why, again, I feel very passionately about the Bolts, is that she's getting to that age where the boys are a little bit more powerful than she is. They're a little stronger than she is, and she's not lacking the skills, but she's starting to fall behind. And I think a lot of the girls feel that way. And I think that's when they make that transition to softball.
727-441-3000. This is Reach Out, taking your calls to the end of the show here. We have a couple of minutes. We have a caller right there. Are you there?
Hey, everyone. This is Lisa Caprera.
Hey, Lisa, how are you? Now, you know about women's sports because you're a professional soccer player. So talk about the efforts of these women here in the studio, talking about starting a baseball league just for women and really playing with the boys right now. You probably experienced that, too, on the soccer field.
Yeah, it's been a long journey playing soccer my whole life. I have some advice to give to everyone. If you have a passion, and you are just determined to be better every single day, you got to challenge yourself every single day. Now, even if your dreams are too small, it all depends on what you want to do. Like, you got to constantly challenge yourself to be better, no matter what it is. If you want to play baseball, soccer, lacrosse, swimming, whatever sport it is, if you have a passion for it, stick with it and be consistent and always believe in yourself. And there's going to be people that will doubt you. but just, you got to prove them wrong, and that's where you gain your energy.
So, Lisa, real quick, what was your biggest challenge that you had to overcome, or are you still overcoming it?
Biggest challenge, in soccer, I went to 3 universities actually. So I played Division I at Hartford in Connecticut, then Palm Beach Atlantic, and the University of Tampa. I've been through a lot with soccer. There's a lot of stories, but there's always been people that doubted me because I wasn't the biggest player. So I'd always have to kind of work extra hard to prove a point. I would always say, like, people would be like, oh, she's too small to play up top. So I'd have to run faster. I'd have to be stronger, and I'd have to try extra hard. I'd work out 3 times a day, make sure I'm first in every fitness test, just so I can always prove myself and be number 1.
Well, Lisa, thank you for calling in and offering those words of encouragement, because you have a lot of girls listening to this show tonight that really want to get this off the ground. I welcome Brooke and Tina for leading the way here. Lisa, God bless. Thank you very much.
Alrighty, thank you.
All right, we have another caller there. Let's take that person on. You're on the air here. Reach out.
Hi, I'm Eliana with the Bolt.
You are part of the Florida Bolts,
Yes.
right?
Hi, Eliana.
Okay, how are you today? What position do you play?
I play first, pitcher, and catcher.
Okay, great. So why is it important for you to play baseball and not softball or anything else?
They're 2 completely different sports, and I don't want to feel like I'm being pushed out of playing baseball. Like, I shouldn't feel like I have to switch over.
So you're feisty too, and you want to see this unfold where women have their own league and you don't have to go through this anymore, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so very much for calling. We have another caller on the air. Bobby, we have somebody else? Okay, you're on the air. Reach out. We're talking women's baseball, Florida Bolt baseball. What's your thoughts? Hello?
Or we lost them. Oh, they're probably calling back.
Okay, but calling back. So, Lily, when you hear your teammate talk like that, it inspires you?
Yes, because I know they think probably the same thing I am, and they're struggling with me.
So that, Brooke, that is so very important when you have, a group of people, girls that want the message to be told. This is what it's all about, right?
Right. That's exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right.
I didn't start this. We had a gentleman, Josh, start it. He moved to Oregon. He couldn't take over, and we had nobody stepping up. And I looked at my daughter and said, what do I do? Do I just tell her we're done? And do I tell all these other girls we're done? So I stepped up, and I've been running it for 1.5 years now. And hearing them makes me want to keep going. I'm going to do it for them.
We have 5 minutes left. Bobby, you got another caller. You're on the air. Reach out. Talking Florida Bolt baseball. Are you there?
Hey, this is Emma and Mia Seitz with the 12U Bolts team.
Thank you so very much for calling. What's your thoughts about women's baseball and Florida Bolts?
I think it is really cool, and it gives all the girls an opportunity to play what they love.
And what position do you play?
I play second and pitcher.
Wow. So how old are you?
12.
12 years old. So you're going to keep pushing just like everybody else that's just been calling on the show, right?
Yes.
All right. God bless you and your family. Unfortunately, we have rapid calls here. Let's get the next caller on.
All right, Jack, next.
Jack, Florida Bolt baseball. What you got to say, man?
I think most of your audience has probably never seen the women play. I saw the professional team from Florida play about 20 years ago, and I was shocked at the skill level of the women playing, meaning it was incredibly high. So try to, convey that to your audience. We're not talking girls trying to play. I saw a shortstop deep in the hole throw the runner out at first is equal to any Yankee. So
wow,
they really do a good job.
Jack, agreed. We are going to that national tournament in Kentucky, and we have girls all the way from 8 to 18. And sometimes watching those 18-year-olds, I am like, why aren't they signed up with the Yankees? Because they're phenomenal. They're phenomenal.
Jack,
Yeah,
where did
well,
you
there
see
was-
girls play 20 years ago?
Up in North Jersey, and there was this one blonde that was really good, and I never forgot.
All right.
Thank you, Jack.
Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Jack. We have 2 more callers and 2 more minutes. You're on the air. Reach out. Talking Florida Bolt baseball.
Cambria?
I'm sorry?
Cambria?
Cambria. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for calling. Reach out. What position do you play? You're in the Florida Bolts?
Yes, sir. I play third base and catcher.
Okay. Where are you from? Because you have a nice accent.
I'm from Pensacola
Okay. There you go. So why do you play baseball? Why is it important for you to play baseball and not softball or anything else?
because I played my whole life, and my brothers always played it, so I just love playing it with him.
All right. God bless there. We have one more caller, and then Cynthia, you're going to take us home in a song. Fernando, reach out. Florida Bolt Baseball. What do you have to say, Fernando?
I just wanted to say how proud I am of these girls. I'm one of the coaches. Actually, I'm the practice coach. And my daughter, Juliana, she played with the Bolts, and she plays the West Fernando Little League with Lily. And they're so good. We can wait to go to nationals and then take that championship.
I love it. Fernando, thank you very much for calling. Brooke, Lily, Tina, thank you very much. I think we need to do this every week. I don't know. We'll have to talk about it after the show. Santiago, can you do a song in 30 seconds?
Yes, sir.
All right, you got it. Santiago Pickney, take it away.
This will be a Michael Jackson song. It's a wonderful song.
There we go.
When I had you, I treated you bad and wrong, my dear. And girl, since you've been away, don't you know I sit around with my head hanging down, and I wonder who's loving you.
Yes,
Thank you.
WTAN, Clearwater.
FM 106.1.
WDCF, Dade City.
FM 102.3.
WZHR, Zephyrhills.
FM 104.3.
Listen.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper in Chicago. In Nashville earlier, Sheryl Crow performed at a vigil for the 6 people killed in a shooting at a Christian school on Monday. First Lady Jill Biden was among those in the audience who heard from Nashville Police Chief John Drake.
Police officers have cried and are crying with Nashville and the world. I have cried and continue to cry, and I have prayed for Nashville as well.
Authorities are still investigating the shooter's motive. CBS's Janet Shamlian reports there is new information about how the shooter prepared for the attack.
CBS News has learned the Covenant School shooter had weapons training before the attack, but authorities don't know where or when. The 2 semi-automatic weapons Hale was armed with are designed to do damage. When assault-style weapons are used in a mass shooting, over 5 times as many people are shot.
The Vatican says that 86-year-old Pope Francis is in the hospital and will undergo treatment for several days. CBS's Seth Doan reports from Rome.
Pope Francis was kissing babies, welcoming children, and addressing crowds at his weekly audience. But the pontiff appeared pained as he was helped into his Pope mobile, and soon after he was brought to nearby Gemelli Hospital for what a Vatican spokesman called, quote, previously scheduled checks. However, the Vatican revealed Pope Francis had complained of breathing difficulties in recent days and will be treated in the hospital for a respiratory infection, which is not COVID-19.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky wants to meet with his Chinese counterpart and has invited Xi Jinping to visit his war-torn nation. Reaction from National Security Council spokesman John Kirby.
We certainly support, at the very least, a conversation between President Xi and President Zelensky, and my goodness, we've been saying that for weeks.
Kirby says President Biden also welcomes the chance to meet with his Chinese counterpart to discuss Taiwan and other issues, but the process would start with the Secretary of State. In California, the state's reparations task force is considering a number of proposals, from millions to billions, being made to compensate African Americans for decades of discrimination. CBS's Steve Futterman reports.
Determining who qualifies and calculating how much each person will get is complicated.
Wealth is essential to economic stability.
Dietrich Mohammed Asante is with the advocacy group National Community Reinvestment Coalition.
Nationwide, the median wealth for African Americans is around $9,000.
That's much lower than the median wealth for whites. There is a wide range of proposals. One calls for $800 billion to be paid out, but that's more than 2 times the state's annual budget. Steve Futterman, CBS News, Los Angeles.
This is CBS News.
Hire with minimal effort and maximum success with Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Visit Indeed.com/credits.
727-510-7622. That's 510-7622. Call Lola Jean now to check out your Tan Talk network program. In addition to network radio, we'll stream your program in audio and video all over the world. Call Lola Jean now, 727-510-7622. Call today. Your network 1-hour program can start tomorrow. Broadcast your message in audio and video on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hi, this is Prior Smith speaking from Toronto with an invitation to join me Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. and 12 noon for Canada Calling, the daily update of news from home for vacationing Canadians, right here on WTAN Clearwater, Dunedin, 1340 AM and 106.1 FM, on WDCF in Dade City, 1350 and 102.3 FM, and on WZHR in Zephyrhills at 1400 and 104.3 FM. That's Canada Calling on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Tune in Saturdays from 3 to 5 p.m. for Miss Sarah's Dynamic Gospel Power Show. That's 2 hours of great gospel music every Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m., all brought to you by the Ozona Pig Restaurant in Ozona. Yes, that's every Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m. It's Miss Sarah's Dynamic Gospel Power Show. Tune in on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Make sure you tune in to Burning Rubber Radio Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. here on the Tan Talk Network. Burning Rubber Radio will bring you up to date on what's going on in NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, and anything else that has 2 or 4 wheels and races. That's Burning Rubber Radio Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. right here on the Tan Talk Network. Burning Rubber's brought to you locally by BigStormBrewery.com.
Hey, you new to the area or just want to know about the best hidden gems and upcoming events? Stay tuned. Be Local Buzz with Devin takes you to these places, introduces you to the best businesses, and tells you about upcoming buzz. Preset your radio to Tan Talk 1340 AM or 106.1 FM every Thursday from 4 to 5. That is the Be Local Buzz with Devin on Tan Talk 1340 AM and 106 FM every Thursday from 4 to 5. Looking forward to speaking with you.
Ella, Frank, Bobby, Louie, and Dino. They're all back on the radio, part of the music of your life, and they've all come home to the Tan Talk Radio Network.
No one to walk with, I'm all by myself. No one to talk with, but I'm happy on a shelf. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. I know for certain the one that I love. Through with flirting, it's just you I'm thinking of. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner, I'm in a corner. Don't go nowhere, what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, baby, I don't stay out late. I don't care to go home about 8, just me, my TV and radio. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you, baby, saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner, I'm in the corner. I don't go nowhere, but what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, baby, I don't stay out late. I don't care to go home about 8. Hi-fi TV and radio ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you, baby. My little baby, I am saving my love. My little baby, saving my love just for you. Fa-da-da, fa-da, fa-da, fa, fa, fa-da, fa-da, fa-da-da-da-da-da-da, fa-da, fa, 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 fa-da.
I'd like to get you on a slow boat to China.